We're in Mexico. Yes, we are. And this is the Mazatlan Diaries. And it's really for my family and my friends. And honestly, it's for anybody else who might be interested in what happened when we moved to Mazatlan. Picked up and moved our little life to Mazatlan.
You did what?
Yeah, we moved everything. Right. Well, we didn't move anything. Actually, that's what's sort of weird about it. We sold pretty much everything we own, except our dog over here is sleeping. And on his blanket. That's Milo. Milo, the Mazatlan Mexidog. Mexidog, Milo. Mazatlan Milo, Milo the Mexidog. We're still working that. We're still workshopping his new name. Anyway, so why are we doing it? Yeah, it's just really, it's like a diary of everything that's happened, and I thought you might find it interesting and watch us make mistakes along the way and have some fun and have some, good times, bad times. Anyway, join me and mi esposa. Mi esposo.
Did you just suddenly change?
I said my wife. Mi esposo. See, my Spanish is so bad. I'm in such big trouble. I know. We need a serious conversation. Anyway, so here we are and doing a thing. So I have notes. My notes just disappeared. Okay, so why did we move to Mexico? A million reasons, or maybe just several. But I feel like this isn't the video for that conversation. We wanted to. We're on an adventure. We had some pretty, good reasons to do so. But we'll save that for another video. So one of the tools for us moving here, one of the major, the help that we got was mostly from the Mexico Relocation Guide. There is a guide that is extraordinary, and it's like the Bible for moving to Mexico. Anything you could possibly want to know or understand or have questions about, and we had a lot of questions. We used the Mexico Relocation Guide. It's invaluable. We're still using it, actually, as we're looking for agents who can help us rent a property here. And they have some great recommendations.
A city tour,
things like that. Yeah, we're doing all kinds of things. We're still using that guide, and I will link to that guide in the notes so that if anybody wants to check it out.
We found
pretty cool.
We found our drivers.
We found our drivers there. We found our what was I going to say? The not just the drivers.
The company that moved
us. The woman, Arendira, who helped us get your residency card.
So get your
things
residency.
Like that. And she's going to help with my residency card now that I'm here. And they've been great. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But I highly recommend that. We couldn't have done it without help. Absolutely. And I don't suggest anyone try to attempt this without taking serious time to plan it, because it's hard. It's really hard. So anyway, we started this process of moving here to Mazatlan back in, I think we got real serious in June. And now we're at the end of October. So we said, okay, this is the time. Let's clean out the house, let's give some stuff away, let's put the house on the market. We put the house on the market in July, and then the real estate market just went. So we were kind of like, oh my gosh, is the house going to sell? And everything got kind of weird. If you know anything about the real estate market right now, it is a little bit difficult, to say the least. So it took us some months, but we did sell it. Not at the price we wanted to, of course, but we got a decent price for it. And then the hard stuff began, because up to that point we'd been knocking off things off our list, And then we're like, oh no, actually this is the hard part now, because we'd have to have an estate sale to clean out. How we can't bring everything with us. It's just, well, I mean, there are people who do that. But do you want to ship all your belongings to another country? No, you don't. No, you don't.
The price is like, you may as well just buy your stuff all over again.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. So we had an estate sale. We didn't know we had an estate. We didn't feel like we had an estate, but that's what they call it, an estate sale. And we had a wonderful woman help us. If you want to know about her later on, if you want to have your own estate sale, I have a great person to call. She's fantastic. So anyway, we did that. We also had a going away party, which was quite something. To see, I wish I could have seen everyone before we left. We saw some really awesome friends come by and family, and it was a casual party, but it was so great. And so we did the party, the estate sale, and then there was still stuff left over. And honestly, if you've ever done anything like this, and I assume most of you haven't, you think you're okay giving away your stuff or selling your stuff, but sometimes you pick up a nothing. Like I picked up a bowl and I started crying. The bowl was something I had made in a pottery class with Cody and my son Cody, and I picked up this bowl and I started crying, and I'm like, Felix, we have to pack this bowl. I can't give away this bowl. And I mean, and that wasn't the only time something like that happened, where you just go, oh no, I can't give this away. And but honestly, there's so many things that you find you are able to kind of release and give to someone else who will enjoy it in their lives, in their home, but it's quite the process. So we got through all that, and suddenly, I'll tell you, those last few days in our house, it was empty. We had no bed. We had an air mattress. We had no cutlery. We had practically no food in the house. Because did you know that people buy food at estate sales? Yes, they do. They buy. I couldn't find any toothpicks in the house because somehow we sold our toothpicks. So it was quite something, and emotional and weird. But those last few days were strange. We were sleeping on an air bed thing, and anyway, it's strange and surreal, I guess is the best way to put it. So that last morning, we actually had our realtor John come by, who's a great realtor too. I'm going to put his name in the notes because and his information, because he's great, John Moriarty. He came by and picked up the air mattress because that was all that was left to give away. So he came by and we said our hugs and took Milo for a final walk in our neighborhood, and that was weirdly emotional. I mean, I was so present in that moment, just looking at the houses, looking at the street. I don't know, looking at the sky. I mean, it was like we had lived in West Hills, Woodland Hills area since 1996. And so it was profound and weird, and just try to like be present. And it was special and weird and poignant, all those words at once. So Felix and I were finally done. Everything was given away, everything was sold, everything was packed. We were down to 16 things. Several
16 boxes and suitcases.
Right. So, it was like you count the guitar as one thing, but several suitcases, some boxes, a couple backpacks, a purse,
Pillows.
But anyway, what?
Our favorite pillows,
a dog bed, it was like 16 things. And we just stared at each other, and it was about an hour and a half before we were gonna get picked up by our driver, who was driving us to Mexico. And we just sat there, and I'll tell you, that last hour and a half, we had nothing left to do. And we just sort of, it was like those minutes were years or months of time. And we had turned off, the internet was turned off, like we had to ship the modem and router back to Spectrum that morning. So Felix said, we didn't have a car, so we had to walk to the UPS store. So we were literally, down to just like this really weird, empty home and nothing to do, could barely surf the internet. We tried. And it was just strange. It was a strange, quiet, eerie moment. And then our driver finally came, and we highly recommend you, well, I can't, you know what? I'm not going to highly recommend anything. We did it this way. We hired a driving service, and they come and pick you up in a rather large vehicle, and they pack all your things in it, and then you get in the car with them, and they drive you to Mexico.
We specifically chose a service that specialized in transporting people and their pets.
Right? So that was kind of important, because we thought, we don't want to put Milo, our sweet shepherd husky mix, 6 years old, through a flight to Mexico in an airplane. And besides that, we had 16 pieces also to get to Mexico, and we thought, we'll drive. We've heard lots of stories about people driving to Mexico. Canadians, there's all these Canadian expats who moved to Mexico. There's all kinds of people from the United States that moved to Mexico, and all over the world, really. And so we've heard of Canadians and people from the United States driving. And we knew about these driving services through Mexico Relocation Guide. So we're like, okay, so we hired this service, and they were great. So picked us up, and we started this drive, and we went south towards San Diego. So we were gonna cross down at that border, the California border. And so that first day was really getting past the border and driving and driving and driving and driving and driving. And then I think, we went through customs like that, which I was like, oh no, customs is going to be this big drama. Not at all. They barely looked at our stuff, which was great. So, and then we had to go to the Tijuana airport to go do my FMM form, which is an immigration form in Mexico, and because I don't have my residency yet, but Felix does. So anyway, I filled the form, blah, blah, blah. But then it went fairly smoothly. So at that point, we'd been driving probably 3-4 hours-ish. And they switched drivers. We switched from, was that Antonio?
Antonio, yes.
To Julio. Julio, we picked, he jumped in the car in Tijuana and took us the whole rest of our journey. And Julio, gosh, he was a sweet boy. I mean, he was just great. He must have been in his mid-20s, yeah?
Yeah, he's a young man.
Young man. So we weren't done driving that day just because we crossed the border. We really needed to go further in our first day. So the word was that we were going to drive east to Mexicali, which is still by the border, but we needed to move eastward. So that was like 3 more hours. We were pretty tired already. Here's why we were tired. That sweet dog of ours, not used to being in a car that long. So it was already, he panting in the back seat with me, which is fine. But over time, he got more and more and more anxious, and he couldn't lay down. And so, we were thinking
he had room to lay down.
He had room to lay down.
Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, he had more room than any of us in the car, but he just couldn't calm down. And unfortunately for me, he kept stomping on my legs, kind of to kind of to lay down. Like he wanted to be comforted by me. I was the only comfort he had in the back seat. So I was pretty sure I was black and blue by the end of the day. And it was just tough. And I found myself going, oh my gosh, we should have flown. We should have flown. We should have flown. This is crazy. We should have flown. This was just day one. We should have flown. Oh my God, we're in trouble. So, and we were tired, and I was cramped because I had too much at my feet. I had my backpack in my purse, and it wasn't in the back, and trying to read, and the dog stomping on me. So it was hard. So we made it to Mexicali. We were really tired. What was it, 8 or 9? It was late. It was late.
It was around 8 or 9.
It was like we hadn't eaten somehow since the morning. I don't know.
We had opportunities.
We're
not very good.
We're not good at taking care of ourselves sometimes.
We're not good at road trips. We don't do road trips. We don't travel by car, almost never.
We are not, we were not, we planned a lot, but did I have snacks in my purse? No. I mean, there were certain things like, why don't I have this in my purse? I have everything else in my purse.
It's not just that. It's not that we lacked opportunity. We stopped often enough for restroom breaks.
I don't know what.
And to get water.
I don't know what we were thinking.
We weren't thinking.
We weren't thinking very well. So anyway, but we were wiped out. Luckily that they got us a really wonderful little tiny house, Airbnb house in Mexicali. It was in like a gated community.
Yeah.
It was brand new, but it looked like a little box. It just looked like they were like box houses. It was really cute. 2 bedrooms. And we invited Julio to be in the second bedroom with us. I think he was supposed to be in another place, but we're like, Julio, yeah, come, just relax. And but Julio peeks in the second bedroom, and Milo had taken the bed. So I'm like, oh, Julio, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the dog. You can sleep in that bed. And I thought that he would move and that Julio would just go lay down. I don't know. So Julio, poor guy, ends up sleeping on the couch because of Milo taking the bed. I'm like, you should have just told us. Oh my gosh. We felt bad. But anyway, we left. So that was day 1. Day 2, we left pretty early. We were trying to be on the road by about 7:30 a.m. And that was it. That was a long day. I think we were on the road for probably 12 hours. We took some breaks, but that was a long day. And just it's weird when you're driving through these areas. It's just trucks and cars, long stretches of freeway or highways, and just like scenery going by, right?
That
cactus.
Yes, there are beautiful sights, to be clear.
But you get a little bored.
Well, I mean, we went through a national park on the way to Mexicali. It was like nothing I'd never seen.
That was a beautiful national park. It was hard to appreciate because it was getting dark. Well,
Rumoroso.
Anyway, we really did see some beautiful scenery, really genuinely beautiful scenery. And then as it was getting dark, I think we tried to get. There was only so far we could get that day. I think we got to Obregon, right?
Cuidad
Obregon. And we wanted to get a little further, but the city that was a little bit further didn't have any place we could stay that allowed dogs. So we stayed in Obregon. And
mascotas.
Huh?
Mascotas.
Yes, they allowed mascotas. So we pulled in like clockwork. The phone rings. We're pulling into the parking spot for this beautiful hotel, actually. Stunning hotel. And Luis, who organized all of this for us, the driving service, he says, oh, by the way, you're in the path of a hurricane. Hurricane Norma is coming. you either have to leave at 4 a.m. the next day. And mind you, it was 9 p.m. as we were getting in. He's like, you guys have to leave at 4 a.m. and get ahead of the storm, or you got to stay where you are, maybe for 2 days. And so, wow. So Julio was like, we can do it. And he thought we could do it. And he thought we could leave early and get past the storm. And we were a little, we're like trusting him. He does this all the time. These drivers, they drive 21 days in a row doing these jobs. And then they get 2 weeks off, and then 21 days in a row of driving.
Well, that was that was Antonio's schedule. I didn't ask.
Oh, you don't know if Julio was that?
I didn't confirm that with Julio.
Oh, okay.
So let's not make that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. But we trusted his wisdom. He thought, yeah, we can do it. We can get ahead of the storm. So I'm like, okay, we're driving into a hurricane, but we're going to be okay because we're going to get ahead of it, right? So, and clearly, it was heading straight for the area that we were going to drive through, right? So we had to get ahead of it before it got there. So I should pause before we get to what we did next. This hotel we stayed in was really great. It actually had a restaurant. They loved dogs. There were dogs around. There's a dog in the lobby. I think the owner might have had a dog.
Cute little fluffy dog.
Cute fluffy dog. So it was a great place.
Had a pool.
It had a pool. We didn't use it, but it was really, really pretty. And but we went to bed thinking in this beautiful hotel with a kitchen. We had a dining room in the room. It was great, sweet.
Also.
Oh, what?
How big is the Sonoran Desert?
How big is the Sonoran Desert?
We were in it for driving through it for 2 days.
2 days of desert. Oh my goodness, so much. So many beautiful cactuses, I must say. So anyway, so that hotel was great. So, but our plan was, I'm thinking 4 a.m. Well, we're going to leave at 4 a.m. So we get up really early, but we don't leave at 4 a.m. We leave at 5 a.m. And we get in the car, raring to go, thinking we can do this. And there's no gas stations open. He really does need to gas up before we get going. And there's no gas stations open. Now, should he have gotten gas the night before? Yeah, but it was late, it was really late last night. And so, there's no gas stations. And in Mexico, they pump your gas for you at the gas station. You can't just pump it yourself. So if there's no attendant, you're out of luck. Like, no one's working. The gas station's closed. So driving, and you finally find a gas station, and
well, the first place we went to is 24/7. It's set on the sign.
24/7.
And we pull up, and you look inside the little.
And it's dark.
And it's dark.
And Julio's like, no, they'll be coming out. And we're like, no. I don't think anyone's coming out.
He said, I think he fell asleep.
Maybe that's right. So anyway, so we started driving. We did finally find gas. It took a while, but we found it. Okay, we start driving, and I'm sitting in the back seat, thinking we've gotten a late start. Like, we didn't get the start that we wanted to. So I'm opening the weather app, and on the Apple weather app, you can kind of look down. It'll say like the weather that you're, and it was good weather where we were at. But I kind of flipped down to see the animation weather map, and I'm looking. And what was the town we were heading towards?
Los Mochis.
Los Mochis. Okay, so I'm looking at Los Mochis, which is about 3 hours from where we are.
It's on the coast.
On the coast. And I'm looking, and in 3 hours, I can tell, because it has the time lapse, it tells you where the storm is going. In 3 hours, I can see with my own little eyes that the hurricane hits that city as we're gonna get there. I was like, hey guys, I think we need to look at this map again. And I'm like giving it to Felix in the front seat. Look at this. And so we pulled over and we all kind of did a quick powwow and decided, the three of us, there was no way we could continue in this second day of driving because we would hit the storm. There was no question. And there was what Luis, who had called us that night before, had warned us about. We were like, yeah, we're not, this is bad. So we turned around and went back to Obregon. And we were able to get back into our rooms. They hadn't cleaned the rooms yet, so we got the same rooms. And Julio and us, rooms were side by side in the hotel. And we had the day off from driving, which honestly, after one day, we're such wimps. After one day of driving, we were already like blotto, like a mess, right? Milo was a mess. We were all a mess. Julio was fine, but we were not. So we're like, okay, maybe this is good. And you know what was funny is where we were, no storm, beautiful, sunny, fantastic weather. So we rest in that beautiful hotel and headed out the next day. So we're now to day 3. Did I leave out something, Felix? No. So now we're on day 3. We lost a day, but it was a good thing to rest. So day 3 was, have I not mentioned that we had to deal with the federales, the police, and the military police along the way? How many times did we get stopped? 4? That's fun, guys. If you haven't gone through that.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have to empty your backpack of
yeah.
people.
Well, you
empty
know
your
what?
pockets.
It is the one thing I say about the whole experience. It is a little unnerving because it's not something that we're that familiar with in the United States. I'm not saying people get pulled over in the United States, obviously. It's just a different vibe, and it happened mostly when we were near the border, which makes sense. And they have checkpoints, and they go through your stuff. So, but you know what? It's so nice to have a Mexican citizen with you who speaks amazing Spanish, obviously, and we had Mexican plates on the car. So let me just say, highly recommended driving service, okay? If it wasn't already obvious, it's a really good option. It's hard. Traveling's hard anyway. It's hard. But anyway, back to day 3, right? Day 3. Okay, so we're driving again, and we're going from Obregon to
Mazatlan.
all the way to Mazatlan. So that drive, the 3rd day, by the way, Milo's doing a little bit better each day. It's hard, but it was, we really had to deal with the effects of the storm. There were massive potholes in the road, lots of, not so much, I would say, well, there was flooding, but not until we got to Mazatlan. But it was the driving through the potholes and avoiding kind of calamities along the road. That was tricky. And also, we hit a point in one of the highways where there were so many highways, I guess, we could have gone on, but they were all stopped. And I don't know, was it a bus crash or it was flooding conditions or whatever, but we sat along with all these massive trucks in some sort of stoppage for, I think, an hour, where we just weren't moving.
It was longer.
It was longer than an hour? It was.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really, so we lost so much time that day. Oh my goodness. So yeah, totally stopped. In fact, Julio pulled off the highway so we could all go to the bathroom and then come back in the line of trucks that hadn't been moving. And then we sat another 20 minutes. But finally, it was cleared and we finally got going again. But it was harrowing, and there was lots of rain that we had to go through that day too.
It was funny about the traffic jam because we noticed there were a lot of trucks that weren't moving.
The trucks, when it finally cleared, and there's like a zillion trucks on this road, And then some of them are moving like, whoosh, we're going. But then there were like random trucks that were just sitting there, and we're like, oh my gosh, the drivers have fallen asleep. They just took a nap.
Yeah. Well, they thought it was going to be hours.
They thought they were going to be there longer. I don't know. So, yeah, it was really funny. We're like, what's going? Oh, they were sleeping there. So anyway, at that point, that massive stoppage, we were still about 2 hours away from Mazatlan, but we drove through lots of rain, drove through the potholes and all that craziness, and we finally got to Mazatlan. And the area of, I would say, the hotel zone was absolutely flooded. The streets were
not everywhere. Not everywhere. We had to go through two areas. Two areas were definitely
like raging rivers down the streets. In some areas, though, I load the footage. Here's the footage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of crazy. But we were there. Really, we were so close. So I think what time we got in? We got in at about 6 p.m. on Monday night. Yeah. So, and I think we just ordered food and collapsed. We tried to unpack a little or whatever, just enough to, brush our teeth and things like that. And so today, actually, this is really only our second day here that I'm making this video. We had yesterday, which was still us kind of bleary-eyed and weird yesterday. We kind of got it together a little bit, but today I think we have our mojo. I think we're in gear. It's very hard to recover from a drive like that. I don't think we planned this trip, and all from June until now, and even years before that, honestly, we've been planning this for so long. We thought of so many things. And of course, planning is best laid plans, right? Things go the way they go. So it was harder, I think, than we realized it was going to be.
Mainly because we're not used to it.
Well, yeah, maybe because we're just not big road trip people.
Yeah, exactly. If you're used to driving long distances for family trips or vacations.
Right. I mean, when's the last time we've driven up to Seattle. We've done that before. We did that like 25 years ago.
Yeah, we were much younger then.
We were much younger. And that was, and you spread it out. You go to Solvang, you go to, wherever. You stop along the way. And anyway, so these were intense drives. And with a dog in the back that was not the happiest creature. But you know what? He's okay now. He's okay. He made it. We made it. Would it have been easier for him to fly? Maybe. But it wouldn't have been very prudent in terms of just getting our stuff here. That would just been, God knows what it would have been. The poor guitar, I don't even know what would have happened to the guitar along the way.
I wouldn't have been worried about that.
You wouldn't have been worried about it? Well, anyway,
they have guitars in Mexico.
They do have guitars in Mexico. What? So, everything can be replaced, for sure. Anyway, I think that takes you up to now. We are in a wonderful condo, in a really kind of central-ish part of Mazatlan, although we're not sure where we ultimately want to be. There's 2 neighborhoods in Mazatlan that we're really liking, and this is in a way kind of between them. So anyway, we have a lot to do. It's not like being on a vacation. It is and it isn't, right? Because we have stuff to do. We got shit to do. So it is a little bit like action oriented and thinking about, we gotta find the vet, we gotta talk to a real estate agent, blah, 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 blah. Oh, let's go for a swim. Or let's go out to the beach. So
we don't have certain items that
we don't have any body soap. What? We don't have body soap?
Shampoo? What's
OXO doesn't carry body soap? I thought OXO had everything.
They have bar soap.
They have bar soap.
Who uses body wash?
Who uses bar soap?
Well,
do you use bar soap, anybody?
They still sell it.
They still sell it. I don't like bar soap. Anyway, we're here. We're okay. We're good. It's a lot. It's been a lot. We have a lot to do. and it's beautiful here in Mazatlan, and the oceans have calmed down. They're bluer now because after the hurricane, it was a little bit brown out there, but it's very blue today. So
the fishermen are getting back out.
The fishermen are fishing, yeah. So anyway, this is the end of part 1 of the Mazatlan Diaries. I hope that you will subscribe and like and share and do those things. It takes 1,000 subscribers to monetize on YouTube. I am nowhere near 1,000 subscribers. So even if you're not a YouTube person, hit subscribe anyway. That would really help me out. I mean, it may be a pipe dream to think that I could monetize anything, but you know, a girl can dream.
At the very least, our friends and family.
We want our friends and family to know what's happening, and maybe someone else cares along the way and thinks we're charming.
Well,
and
you're charming.
I don't know. I can be charming at times. So anyway, we will continue soon with another installment as soon as I have something fun to show you and tell you about, which should be every day, but it probably won't be every day. Hopefully we can do them once a week. Anyway, be well, everybody. Like, subscribe, and share. And we miss you. And we're figuring this out every day. It's wacky. It's Mexico! Viva la Mexico! Actually, it's just Viva Mexico. Anyway.
Viva Mexico!
Viva Mexico! See ya.